Guys, happy Monday. Erica Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I watched my friend get shot in the neck. Yeah, that's what happened. I just want to say that he was publicly executed again before the world. The question is why?
When the news broke that Charlie Kirk, one of the most recognizable voices in conservative politics, had been shot and killed during a speaking event in Utah, the country went silent. The date was September 10th, 2025, and the headlines moved fast. Charlie Kirk dead at 31. It was shocking, tragic, and deeply polarizing. Within hours, tributes and outrage filled social media. His organization, Turning Point USA, released a statement calling it a cowardly act. But while most of America was still mourning, a different kind of conversation was quietly beginning to spread. One that would soon turn into one of the most explosive internet storms of the year. At the center of that storm was someone no stranger to controversy: Candace Owens. Once considered Kirk's closest ally, Owens had shared the stage with him countless times. Together, they were seen as the faces of a new generation of conservative firebrands, young, outspoken, and unfiltered. But in the days following his death, Candace began saying something few others dared to, that something didn't add up. Her first posts were vague, almost poetic. She said that truth hides in plain sight, and that betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. At first, followers weren't sure what she meant, but as she continued, her tone sharpened. In a live stream that quickly went viral, Candace said she believed the official story of Charlie. Kirk's death was incomplete, and that people were being too quick to accept the image of a grieving widow, without asking tougher questions. The grieving widow she was referring to was Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, a woman who had until then been seen as quiet, kind, and deeply religious. At Charlie's memorial service in Arizona, Erica took the stage before thousands and through tears said she forgave the man accused of killing her husband. "I forgive him because that's what Christ did," she said. The crowd erupted in emotion. Clips of her speech flooded TikTok and X within minutes. Some called it one of the most powerful displays of faith they'd ever seen. But others weren't so sure. To critics, including Candace Owens, the moment felt rehearsed. Too calm, too perfect. Owens implied that forgiveness wasn't the natural first reaction of a widow whose husband had been murdered, especially not so soon. The speculation began to take shape. Was Erica hiding something? Within 48 hours, hashtags like the Justice for Charlie and Our Candace Knows started trending. Owens began describing herself as a citizen investigator. She said she'd been sent photos from students at Utah Valley University, images she claimed showed a suspicious man near the venue that day. None of those photos have been verified by any major outlet, but that didn't stop millions from sharing them. People online began connecting dots that may or may not have existed. Erica's sudden silence on social media, her new leadership role at Turning Point USA, and rumors of marital strain before the tragedy. In a late-night post, Owens said flatly, "This was not a random act. This was betrayal from within." That line exploded across social media. Suddenly, what had been a story about mourning turned into a full-blown true crime-style mystery. As the theories grew, established voices pushed back. Pastor Rob McCoy, a close friend and mentor of Charlie Kirk, publicly defended Erica. He said, quote, "Charlie would never have wanted his death turned into the stuff of conspiracy theories." He described Erica as a woman of faith who is being hurt twice, once by loss, and again by rumor. Other members of the Kirk family reportedly stopped speaking directly with Candace, feeling that her posts were making an already painful situation worse. But Owens didn't stop. In another podcast episode, she claimed that a private jet had left the Provo area less than an hour after Kirk's shooting, and that the plane's transponder mysteriously switched off mid-flight, disappearing from radar for almost 40 minutes. "Planes don't just go dark," she said. "Not unless someone wants them to." Aviation experts immediately debunked that claim, saying it was likely a technical glitch. Still, the idea of a missing jet fueled endless speculation online. The hashtags Darsh, Missing Jet, and Candace Files trended for days. Soon, Owens went further, naming names. In one fiery episode, she accused billionaire investor Bill Ackman of having a heated argument with Kirk weeks before his death, implying it could have been connected. Ackman called the claim completely false and defamatory. Even producers from Kirk's own media team came forward to say there was never any such meeting. But by that point, the narrative had taken on a life of its own. Then came the funeral, the moment when everything could have calmed down. Thousands attended the ceremony at State Farm Stadium. Political leaders, media figures, and supporters filled the seats. Erica spoke again, this time visibly emotional but composed. Tucker Carlson, among others, gave heartfelt tributes. But one person was missing, Candace Owens. Her absence was impossible to ignore. Afterward, she confirmed on her podcast that she hadn't been invited. She said, "I didn't need an invitation to remember Charlie." But the bitterness was clear. That comment reignited the feud, with fans arguing over who was truly honoring Kirk's memory, the grieving widow or the outspoken friend demanding answers. Behind the scenes, sources close to the family said the situation had grown unbearable. Some relatives had begun to doubt Erica's actions, while others insisted she was innocent and simply broken by grief. The tension split the Kirk family down the middle. Some advised Erica to speak publicly again, to clear her name. Others urged her to stay silent, believing any response would only add fuel to the fire. The result was a household caught between loyalty, pain, and public scrutiny. Meanwhile, Candace doubled down. She said she had new evidence hidden in plain sight, though she hasn't released anything tangible. Her podcast episodes now blend investigation with sermon-like warnings, saying Kirk was targeted not for who he was as a person, but for what he represented, a conservative voice challenging U.S. foreign policy and the political establishment. "Be suspicious of anyone who tells you to stop asking questions," she told her followers. The quote spread everywhere. Media outlets began to take sides. Conservative podcasts debated whether Candace was courageously exposing corruption or shamelessly chasing clicks. Mainstream news outlets accused her of spreading disinformation. But regardless of where people stood, everyone was watching. Even months later, every new post by Owens sparks fresh waves of debate. Clips from her streams rack up millions of views. Erica's name trends again and again, often alongside words like suspect, forgiveness, and cover-up. And that's where things stand today. The verified facts are simple. Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah on September 10th. A suspect was arrested. Erica Kirk gave a forgiveness speech that went viral. Candace Owens has made bold claims but produced no publicly confirmed evidence. Pastor Rob McCoy and others have called for compassion and restraint. Everything else, the betrayal theories, the missing jet, the insider plots, remains unverified and speculative. But that hasn't stopped millions from believing that something deeper is being hidden. Because in the age of social media, truth isn't always what's proven. It's what feels true. And Candace Owens knows how to make her audience feel something. Whether that feeling is outrage, fear, or curiosity, it's keeping her story, and Charlie's name, alive in ways no official statement ever could. What's left now is a country divided. On one side are those who see Candace as a fearless truth seeker, refusing to let power silence her. On the other are those who believe she's exploiting tragedy to boost her brand. And caught in the middle are Erica Kirk and her family, grieving, silent, and now under the shadow of suspicion. In the end, maybe this story isn't just about one man's death. It's about how tragedy, power, and social media collide, turning grief into content and pain into spectacle. It's a cautionary tale of what happens when personal loss becomes public property, and when truth competes with algorithms for attention. So the question remains, not just who's right or wrong, but who we choose to believe. And why? Because in today's world, even silence can sound like confession.